So, anybody here interested in making 2026 your most empowered year of service, or does that sound like super boring and lame and just like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I don't actually. That's not that fun. Um, yes, I'm so ready. I'm so excited. We've helped 600 conscious founders use these frameworks to hit their peak impact, joy, and profit. So, I feel really honored and humbled to share that. And what we're going to do today is really four main things. One is just founder energetics. So, how do we optimize for peace, for profit, for exceptional client results, and genuine founder joy? There's so many people out there that are building businesses that they don't actually enjoy or just making money for money's sake, working 9 to 5s that they don't like. If you're working a 9 to 5, maybe you want to transition out of it and understand how to make a joyful business. Otherwise, some people hit the level of revenue that they want, but they're like, I hate this business. It's like another golden shackles. Even though it started with good intentions, I don't actually like it. The next is rock solid 2026 roadmap. Somehow my text didn't populate here, but we're going to do some nerdy math stuff around just kind of looking at the year because so many people they just kind of set arbitrary goals like I want to make 500K this year and that sounds great and exciting, but like they don't actually have any of the numbers about how to make that happen this month, next month, the month after, like what actually needs to occur for that to be very feasible to happen. And then we're going to talk about eliminating disharmony and toleration. So, how do we make a dream business that energizes you rather than drains you? And then authentic marketing. So, we've spent over 2 million in ad spend on Meta alone just for this business, not including my other companies. And then we've also helped around 600 coaches and healers and educators run successful, profitable Meta ads too, which is really awesome. So, sound like a good agenda? Awesome, let's go, let's do it. Okay, I'll be the hype man. For those of you who don't know me, just briefly, my name's Yamuna Bihari, and I'm the CEO of Conscious Business Mastery. And I lived as a monk, that's me, little robes, and lived in different farms and rural villages all over India about a year, and then in the only monastery in New York for about 3 years. That was an interesting experience, just being in the only ashram in all of New York City, and just dedicating to a life of service. I just felt so much in my own ego, especially as a male ego in this world, like needed healing, needed reconciliation, needed to be held by other strong people to show me how to be in this world. And I'm so grateful for that experience. And still, majority of those principles I live in my life right now and pray to continue. The second phase of my life was starting Jivanam Ayurveda and Wellness, which we taught body work and holistic trainings all over the world. And that's really like what initially made my power come online because I just knew there was so much more that wanted to come into this world with how I was serving, and I just didn't know how. It's like I hear that from founders all the time. It's like, I know I can help more people heal. I know I can, provide an amazing product or service, but I just don't know how. And so I took a risk. I hired a coach for like $27,000 and I was making like 2, 3 grand a month and just crushed it and spent so much more money figuring out how to run businesses, how to run ads, how to build teams. And then phase three has been conscious sales or conscious business mastery, excuse me. And at a certain point, about a year and a half ago, I say this with humility, but we brought it to about $300,000, $400,000 a month in revenue, which I just never imagined coming from 2, 3 grand a month. Like hearing these numbers, like even at the time in phase two, when I was just like, let me start my first holistic business, my goal was like 7 to 12K a month. And I thought that that was just like unimaginable because it was also a while ago when there wasn't a lot of people talking about this stuff and like showing how much money they were making. So I just had no clue what was available. And to build it to where it's at now I've kind of scaled down my business to be a bit simpler. So it's not at that 400K a month mark, but it's been really beautiful. And this is the impact of some of the alumni. So these are actually outdated numbers by a whole year, but people that have been through CBM impact around 270,000 students a year. Okay, people who have been through my program, which is so amazing to say, impact over 270,000 students per year. And that's not including all the clients that join this year. They provide about 110,000 client breakthroughs annually, and they spend about 20,000 hours with their clients per month. Those are just people that have been through CBM, not including this year. So pretty cool stuff. So y'all ready to dive into the main stuff? And I forgot to mention, if you stay till the end, I will be giving some really awesome tools and gifts and things like that. So make sure to stay. No, you could put me on mute the whole time and just get the gift at the end. That's fine. So let's talk about founder energetics. There's really three main types of consciousness that I see founders having, and this is universal. But some people operate from have, do, be, which means I have to have things so I can do things so I can be the person I want to be. Okay? And this is very, very common. It's externalizing your power, that the environment needs to shift. That the environment somehow needs to shift. The economy needs to shift. My finances need to shift. I need to somehow have more time. I need to have more health. I need to have more whatever. And then I can finally do the things I want to do. And then I can finally be the person I want to be. So a super simple example is like, when I have more money, then I'll slow down. Then I'll feel successful and worthy and peaceful. Just as a super simple example. And these are not conscious patterns that are playing out. These are unconscious ways of trying to get our needs met. Okay, so have, do, be. All right. The second is do, have, be. These are like the doers, the people that really take a lot of action and work really, really hard, and they get their worth from doing. The to-do list, they feel accomplished in their doing. And so it's like, if I just do all these things, then I can finally have these things, then I can finally be peaceful or successful or recognized or whatever it is. And so, some simple examples. If I grind consistently, then I'll scale, then I'll feel secure. If I execute on this strategy, then I'll make money, then I'll feel confident, right? Anybody relate with number one at all? This is not any judgment, shame, guilt, anything like that, but just to recognize where we're at, right? Anybody recognize number two as like, I get my worth from doing? Like, if I'm not doing, then I'm not feeling good in myself. Yeah. Anybody feel like they are stepping into number three pretty powerfully, which is be, do, have? Like, well, I'll explain it first and I'll ask. So who do you want to be? From that place of aligned being, what does that person do when they're aligned? From who I am as the identity in my power, what are the natural things I do from that place of power? And then what are the natural fruits of that doing? Okay. So much of the work that I do with founders across the board, especially one-on-one clients, is identity work. It's congruence. It's, there's this version of you that you really want to attain that's aspirational, that's like, oh my God, I know I could impact so many people. I know I could make so much more money. I know I could retire my mom and buy a beautiful home and steward land and all these like beautiful visions. Everybody wants things. It doesn't make someone unique to have desires. But very few people are willing to become the person for which those things are appropriate, right? Very few people are willing to do the congruence work to have who they are be a match for what they want. And whatever we're experiencing now is a match for some part of who we are, whether we like it or not. So the beautiful things that you have in your life, they're a match for you. And the painful things, they're a match for you. The disempowered things, they're a match. And that sounds harsh, but I'm not just speaking it from like a pedestal. That's my life too. It's each of us, that if we take radical, responsibility and inventory for where we're at, then we see somehow even these unpleasurable things or like really painful things, somehow they're a match for me. Somehow they're a match for me. And so much of like exponential founder growth that I've seen over scaling 600 people, we've brought some people from $0 to $90,000 a month in 6 or 8 months. We brought some people from 100K a month to 400K a month. And that takes real identity work. And I'm not just talking about big numbers. For some people, that big identity work is going from like 2K a month to 15K a month. And that's like massive for them. It's massive identity work that needs to take place. But like, who do you really want to be? And how would the most successful version of yourself act? How would they invest? How would they spend their time? How would they give to others? If you give with the generosity of the person you want to be today, you will get more money. Money needs a place to go. Money needs a place to go, and more of it won't come to you unless you are locked in with where it's going to go. Okay, it's not just like, well, I hope more money comes in. Like maybe if it comes in, then I'll spend on all these things. It's like, no, just spend like that now. Doesn't mean be reckless and like, go wild and whatever, but it means to begin aligning how you're spending and how you're deciding things and how you're using your time with the ultimate aspiration of the person you want to become. Making sense? Super simple concept, but like, and maybe some of you have heard this stuff, but like, let it sink in. See like which parts of me are not a match. Which parts of me are not a match for my vision. Okay. And so, awesome. So let's keep going. So I want to talk about founder rebirth. This is just expanding this concept a bit deeper. The quality of your clarity around these two questions is going to determine the quality of your year's impact, joy, and profits. So are we cool with just having two questions determine this whole year? Makes it really simple, right? What needs to blossom this year to reach your highest contribution? What needs to blossom? What is life wanting to blossom into your life right now? What is life wanting to blossom into your life right now? And if you want to take pictures of these slides, like I wish we had like 5 hours, we could like go deep and journal and all these things. I'm going to invite you to do that a little bit later, but for now, just writing down that question. What needs to blossom this year to reach your highest contribution? What wants to come online? All right. And then, yeah, thanks for that, Ivan. So Ivan put in the chat. Thank you for doing that. Anybody that wants to help out in that way, it's super appreciated. And then what needs to die in order for what wants to blossom to come forward? So hopefully that grammar makes sense. But like what needs to die so that what wants to blossom can actually occur? It can actually have the room, have the space, have the permission, have the right fertility, the right soil to be planted in, right? And it's such a like representation of this year is all about what needs to die. And endings of years is all about contemplating what needs to die as we approach the new year. And then what wants to blossom? It's like what wants to blossom in this new year? The link of those two actually creates our activated potential. So many people, they just focus on what they want, but they don't focus on what needs to die so that they can get what they want. And believe me, well, you don't have to believe me, but if you want to believe me and test it out this year, focus on killing what needs to die. Because that is so much more like eliminating downside is so much more potent than just looking at the upside. Because it's like trying to climb a mountain with like weights on you. It's like, well, if you got rid of those weights, then you could probably climb a lot further. It's not about picking Mount Everest as the goal is going to get you further. It's about releasing the shackles that keep you back is going to get you further. It's so much more potential in that. Making sense? Okay, cool. So let's continue. And this is just a further elaboration of this. Like this is like for those of you who really love going deep, who really love introspecting, this 5 values like framework is so potent for me in my life of like taking inventory of my health, what wants to blossom, what needs to die, my wealth, which includes, career and all that good stuff, my relationships, to friends, to lovers, to children, to parents, community, what wants to blossom, what wants to die, to spirit, if you have a spiritual practice. I'm not here to indoctrinate any of you in a particular path, but your connection with God, with life, with the universe, with prayer. And then embodiment, like what makes you come online, what makes you in your body, in your power. There's things that detract from that, like media. It's like, I tell all my clients, like delete all the apps from your phone. You do not need any apps on your phone to run a business, believe me. What takes away from your power and embodiment? There's so many things zapping power, like unconsciously, consciously, that some part of us likes to be drained from. Anything that's zapping our life, some part of us likes that. It's weird to say, but to be honest with it is to bring light into the shadows, right? Some part of me wants to get my needs met for relaxation and leisure and comfort by grabbing the phone for the 2 seconds I'm going to the bathroom. You know, some part of me that needs relief goes to check the email, goes to check the whatever. Just as an example, it's like, can that be met in another way? Or can I just sit in my discomfort in my body and just like let it pass through without reaching for that thing and like vow to not cope this year? What if I vowed to not cope this year? How powerful would I be if I didn't cope with discomfort or cope with each of us has coping mechanisms, and understanding what those are. What if I didn't cope this year, right? This is from, Jesus, but new wine cannot live in old skins. So letting the dead things fall away so new life can be birthed. This is just another elaboration of the same concept. So I like to ritually audit my time, my finances, my physical space, my belongings, and my attention. Okay? This is all really like taking this concept another layer deeper. It's like looking at your whole calendar for your week. Like, what are all the time drains? What are all the ways like your relationship with time is disempowering you? Even just journaling on your relationship with time. Oh, there's not enough of it. Oh, it's moving too fast. Oh, it's blah, 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 Finances, like to go through all of your credit cards and your business and your personal finance and like what doesn't need to be spent on anymore. Old subscriptions for software, things where just money is leaking through the ground. Physical space, like what needs to be decluttered, like going through all the closets in your house, like letting the dead things die. I'm not joking when I'm saying like, Yamuna, I thought we were going to learn about marketing and business and you're telling me to clean out my closets. It's like, yes, this is how you do one thing, how you do everything. And it's just an energetic blockage. And if we're going to go a little bit more cosmic, because I lived as a monk and studied Ayurveda and whatever, wealth is like a goddess in my tradition. She's a goddess and she likes to flow where she's used well, where she's used in service. And where there's items in your house that are not being used, she's like, well, you spent me on this and you're not using it. So why should I come to you more? It's just a principle. It's like recycling, giving away, throwing away, donating, selling, those things that are not actually breathing life into your life that are in your house. Why are they there? Oh, maybe I'll use it one day. Like, get rid of that consciousness. Let it go. Is it actually a fit for the me that wants to come forward in the future? And then I'm calling in today. Belongings and then attention. So I've already mentioned this, but just apps on your phone, whatever entertainment. What entertainment can die? It's like we actually can't calculate the amount of damage our attention being dragged to like cute cat videos and like little things like that throughout the day, like the damage that actually has on the psyche and that it has on our embodiment and power. Like it's incalculable. One of my friends that's like very, very wise, he said, if I were to start like a new spiritual tradition and there was like one principle that people had to follow, it'd be no internet. I'm like, my God, just be no internet. If there was one, not about sex or about drugs or about this or about that, it would just be no internet. So anyways, these are things to consider. I'm not telling anybody how to live or we should, step beyond where we're at. All right, take a deep breath in and exhale. Put a 1 in the chat if you're getting something so far. If you're getting something valuable so far. Awesome. No glazed over gazes yet. I'm doing good. No one's passed out. Success. Let's go. Let's go, baby. So let's talk really like nerdy, pragmatic, strategic stuff about planning this year. Now that we've kind of cleared away what's dead and kind of audited, like have some tools. Maybe we didn't do it right now because I'm talking the whole time, but to later just kind of audit, clear away what's dead, understand what wants to blossom. Now let's talk strategy. So there's a difference between arbitrary goal setting and then creating a rock solid roadmap for the year. So we want to move beyond these kind of surface level affirmations of I'm going to buy a land. You know, sometimes I hear people, because I take hundreds of sales calls a year and I review a team that takes thousands of sales calls a year and stuff. And so many people are disembodied when they talk about what they want. They just say something with no understanding of what it's going to ask of them, who they have to become, you know, in order to attain that, what it actually means in their day to day, how they use their time. Like none of that is aligned with what they say that they actually want, but they still somehow are convinced that they want it. And so again, it's about honesty. What do you really want? You know? And then how do we actually align with that? And so here's some nerdy ways we do that. So this is something we developed over the past 4 years after talking with, you know, tens of thousands of founders and helping a lot of people move through this. But there are hundreds of ways to build a business. You know, there's tons of marketing gurus and business coaches that are like, you only need to do high ticket, or all you need to do membership, or you should never do sales calls, or you should only do sales calls, or you should, you know, make $50,000 a month, or you're brokey, you know, or whatever it is. There's so many people telling you what your business should look like. What we try to focus on in CBM is, what do you really want? What, like, getting really clear on what you really want, because there's so many ways to build businesses. There's people that make millions of dollars with just webinars, millions of dollars just with sales calls, millions of dollars just with content, millions of dollars just with, it doesn't have to be millions. I'm just giving examples here, that there's so many ways to do it. And so what do you really want? And getting clear on that super foundational to actually having a roadmap. If you don't know what you want and what you want it to feel like. And so this is not to get ahead of myself. We developed this 30-point roadmap where we understand, you know, your founder vision, your core values, your core focus, what needs to happen over the next 90 days, next year, next 5 years. What are the main issues in our business? What's our main offer and product suite? What platforms do we want to focus on as far as social media? What funnels and traffic do we want to set up? What's our marketing strategy? What's the unique propositions? You know, these are, I'm going to pull up the next slide. I want you to take a picture of this. Some of this may not totally make sense to you, so I'm going to try to explain it a little bit. It's just a very brief overview of some of the auditing we try to do, especially with private clients. It's vision GPS. So like, what's the financial function of your business? Like, is it a lifestyle business? Is it a cash flow business, which is trying to get as much cash as possible? Or is it, you know, something you're trying to sell and exit? It's like, what is the actual function of the business? What are your internal drivers? Like, is it helping people? Is it seeing what you're capable of? Like, there's probably many, but we want to create the hierarchy and understand, like, what are our main drivers, you know, and just be honest with those. Like, for a while in CBM, it was like, I love helping people, but it wasn't my number one driver. My number one driver was like, I love seeing what I'm capable of. You know, that's why I started growing and growing and growing. And then number two was helping people, and they all work together, you know, if they're synchronized and harmonized. Mission, vision, values, 90-day, 1 year, 5 year roadmap in your product and positioning. What's your high level promise? What's that one kind of sentence thing that you can say that's not super generic or overinflated? There's so many people making insane promises online, you know, especially in the business coaching world of like, I saw one the other day that was like, you're going to make an extra $100,000 in the next 2 months, or we'll pay you $20,000 for wasting your time. It's like, first of all, that's illegal and not FTC compliant. But second of all, like, how are we creating this sort of standard and expectations for people to get such crazy results? It just works to sell people, but it doesn't actually work on the delivery, you know? And so what's something that we can promise that's actually true and powerful, but it's not overinflated? You know, it's not a lie. We're not selling a lie, but it is powerful. So, you know, I could go through all these things for a long time, but, you know, what's your unique propositions? What's the potential guarantees you can make? You don't have to have one. What are the generosity offers you want to make for like free courses or free webinars or whatever it is? How do we optimize your socials? What's the product suite? What's the best platforms for you, funnels, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I won't go through all this, but these are some of the things to really get clear on. You know, what sort of role freedom do you want in founder freedom? How do you experience fun and play as a founder? How do you unlock exponential potential? How do you understand your own subconscious sabotage? Like a very simple question to consider about subconscious sabotage is like, you probably know one or two things that if you did would grow your business. And what you need to begin observing is, what are the things that I say in my mind that allow me to not do what I said I was going to do? Right? Like you said you were going to do something, and then something came in your mind when you were going to do it that allowed you to rationalize not doing it. And that is super important to write down on a piece of paper and just sticky note right onto your computer. Because when you can start recognizing the patterns of the rationalizations that allow you to not act in integrity with what you say you want, then you actually have leverage over your subconscious. You get what I'm saying? Everybody with me? One of my teachers, and then I'll change slides, he said, this is so potent. It stuck with me forever when he said this. He said, rationalization is the intelligence in service of the false ego. Rationalization is the intelligence, so your intellectual function, in service of your false self, your lower self. It's what allows you to justify, like a lawyer writing out a perfect script and perfect argument to win a court case, why you don't need to grow, why you don't need to step up, why you don't need to do the thing you said you're going to do. And it's perfect. Rationalization really is such a comfort mechanism that allows us to feel okay with not being the person we say we want to be. And if we have average friends, all of our friends will also comfort in this. Like, yeah, you need to take it easy on yourself. Oh yeah, you need to not work that hard. Oh, they'll just agree with our rationalizations. We tend to have friends that agree with our rationalizations. But being exceptional means to be the exception. Being a leader means to be able to be self-led. And that means we need to get out of these paradigms of not leading ourselves. All right, put a 2 in the chat if you're getting some juicy. Or put a 3 if you're like, Yamuna, come on, step it up, bro. We want something different. Awesome. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Let's take a deep breath in. And exhale. All right. So in this little nerdy strategic thing, do you know your revenue goal for 2026? Do you actually know? Do you know your revenue goal for 2026? Have you written it down? Okay. Do you actually know? Just yes or no. I love making some of you laugh. You're like, shit, Yamona, calling me out. Yes or no? Do I know it? Do you know your profit goal? That's even more important. Do you know what you actually want to take home out of the cash that comes in? Yes or no? Just yes or no. Maybe, kind of have an idea. Just a yes or no. No judgment. A lot of yeses is super impressive, and some no's too, which is perfect. Actually about half and half. That's totally fine. It's totally fine. The honesty is the main thing. Honesty is what makes us progress. Do you understand? This is the most important out of these 3 questions I'm asking. Do you understand what that would actually ask of you to achieve? And if it's something you haven't even achieved yet, then it'd probably be no, if you're being honest, because it's to get something you have never gotten, you have to be someone you've never been and do things you've never done. Right? But at least like on an energetic sense, like I guess maybe even a better question is not like logically, do you understand? But like energetically, are you congruent with a yes to be that person? That could be a better, more nuanced question to like, am I actually a yes to that? To what that would ask of me, regardless of what the details are. Because no one can make that decision for you. You know, the etymology of decision is decadere, like the Latin, which means to cut off. To cut off, like there's a fork in the road. One path goes to where you want, one path goes to where you don't want. You have to cut off, decadere, like to decide means to cut off that other path. And I'm a yes to this path. Doesn't mean you know everything that's going to happen on that road. Doesn't mean you know exactly how you're going to handle everything or the how, but the decision comes before the results. And I've seen that with every founder that's ever hired me. The people who decide to be successful before they have any proof are the ones that are actually get the result. One of my teachers, he said, lack of proof is not proof of lack. That also stuck with me. Lack of proof is not proof of lack. And so, well, how, Yamuna? How am I going to do it? Well, lack of proof is not proof of lack. Are you a yes to being that person? And if you're not, like it's, Jesus told his disciples, be hot or be cold. If you're lukewarm, I spit you out. So it's not about like what I want, what Yamuna thinks you should be, or what other influencers think you should be, or what your parents or partner, anything else other than like, what do you really want? What do you really want? Because no one's going to decide that for you, and no one can decide to be successful except for you. Right? So these are like essential questions that are not just performative for this workshop, or performative for me, or performative for even a false sense of self that you have about who you should be, but just about who do you really want to be. Right? These are super important. It's just congruence here. So I'm going to help you reverse engineer your goals. So the maths, this is so important. This is like getting out of this like very heady, energetic, etheric place we're at and just getting extremely practical. So I'm going to show you something, and bear with me. You're about to be blinded by numbers and blinded by calculations. Just try to listen to my words more than look at all the different numbers on the screen I'm about to show you. And that's not to downgrade any of your intelligence or ability to understand. I just want to make sure that this tool that I'm about to show you actually gets used in the right way, because I'm going to gift it to you at the end. It's one of my gifts for the end of this call. Everybody cool with that? Awesome. So essentially, let's put in someone's goal. Put anybody who wants me to do theirs for them. Put in the cost of your main coaching or course product, and put in your monthly financial goal into the chat. We could do maybe 1 or 2 people. Put in the cost of your main thing that you sell, like if it's a coaching for $2K and I want to make $30K a month. And then I'm going to walk you through this and hopefully not have these numbers blind you. And if nobody wants to do it, I'll think of something arbitrary. All right, cool. So I just saw Ivan and Catherine first. We'll see if we have time. I'll give this to each of you, so you'll have time to do it. But let's do Ivan, for instance. He has some funky numbers. So 1111 cost of product, 20,000 a month. Okay. Literally all you need to do to make this sheet work is enter these 2 numbers and everything auto-populates in red. So I'm going to explain this to you. Just stick with me because I know it's a lot, but I did this on purpose so you really have a robust understanding of what to expect. So show rate, this is assuming that you take sales calls for your offer, which is, in my opinion, and across the board in the high ticket coaching space, a person is always going to sell better than a page or a webinar or things like that. So this is just assuming a sales call format. Okay, there's many other ways to do it. But show rate means out of the people that booked a call with you, how many actually show up. So if 10 people booked and 6 people showed up, you'd have a 60% show rate. Make sense? Right? Offer rate means out of those people who you spoke to, how many of them did you actually put the offer on the table for? Like you're like, okay, I think you could actually be helped by this. Like I think you're qualified, you want it enough. Like here's the offer. 70% of those you make an offer to, just in this example. Close rate is out of those people, out of the people you made an offer to, how many did you close that actually paid you on the call? All right. And so this is like pretty bad statistics in general, So I'm going to go from bad statistic to really, really great statistics. But if you had 6 out of 10 people show up, you offer to 70% of the people of those 6 people, and you close 15% of the people you offer to, this is how many sales calls a month you need to reach your financial goal. Okay? There's a reason this looks so overwhelming. So we're going to get why this is important to understand in a second. This is about theory of constraints and so many other things. You would need 285 sales calls a month, or about 71 calls per week, to reach your financial goal. Okay. Which is unreasonable for a single person to do, because overall you just need 18 sales needed. Okay. All of this, the only way this is calculated is divide your monthly goal by the cost of your product. Okay. And you need 18 sales. But in order to get 18 sales, with only 60% of people showing up, 70% of people offered to, and 15% of people closed, this is how many calls you would need per week. Okay? And this is like really bad stats. So that's why I'm showing it on purpose. But if we go to these best case where you have 90% of people show up, you offer to everybody that shows up on the call, and you close, 35% of people, you only need 14 calls a week. Okay? And so why this is important is because it's showing you how important these levers are to dial. If you increase your show rate, you can get significantly different results. If you increase your close rate, you can get significantly different results. And you just need to do a lot less work if you can fix these things, right? And these are all skills. But also, like, let's say another lever is pricing. So because you have a product that's a bit on the lower price, let's say you were to offer, put this to $3,000 for your offer. Boom. Now, even at the worst case scenario, this is still like doable. That's 5 calls a day. It's a lot, but it's doable. 5 calls a day, and at the best case scenario, it's 1 call a day to reach your $20,000 a month goal. So pricing is a huge lever too. Do we see that? It's like, man, maybe my price is not actually a fit for the amount of money I want to make. If it's like, wow, I'm not actually willing to have 30 sales calls a week or 20 sales calls a week based on this calculator, well, either your goal needs to go down or your price needs to go up. That's the options, right? That's the options. So this is why I'm talking about this, is because it gets it out of the pie in the sky thing of setting these financial goals and into just like, here's what actually needs to happen in reality, right? Now, stay with this, because if you know your numbers, like what your show rate is, what your offer rate, what your close rate is, enter those 3 here and it's going to spit out custom values. So I left this for you here. These are just examples. This is like very high. This is like exceptional. This is exceptional numbers. Mostly what I would look at as like good numbers is these 2 middle ranges. Okay. Just for example, this is really bad. This is really bad. And this is really good. So look at these 2 middle for like a kind of optimistic number if you're dialing in. All right. Now, not to get too nerdy, maybe I'll just make a loom on this and send it to you after. But you guys want me to take it a step further and go nerdy or no? Or are eyes glazing over and we're like, I can't actually handle this right now? Put a 1 in the chat if I should continue. Okay. Just making sure, because I saw some people starting to space out. I was like, uh-oh. I had a feeling the spreadsheet would get them. So these are just examples of lead generation mechanisms. Let's say you're using DMs to get calls. Okay? So there's a warm leads example that's like from followers, subscribers, people that kind of know, like, and trust you already to some extent. And this is assuming 10 to 20% of the people that you reach out to book a call. Okay. So if you reached out to 100 followers today that were warm, 10 to 20% of them may book a call with you. And so how many reach outs would you need to get from best case scenario, which is this 5 weekly calls needed, to worst case scenario, which is this 26 calls needed per week? Okay. That's what this range is. And you can see it obviously ranges greatly. 105 warm leads needed a month to 1,058 warm leads needed a month. So this, again, stressing the importance of fixing these things, of fixing your show rate, fixing your offer rate, fixing your close rate, because it's 10 times less work in lead gen if you fixed it, A probably worthwhile thing to do. I need 10 times less leads if I fix my show rate, offer rate, and close rate. All right. But weekly, we break it down, and it actually is still doable. I need to reach out to 26 to 264 leads per week, which take you maybe 30 minutes to reach out to 26 leads. Worth it? Probably, right? To DM 30 leads. So even if it's at the worst case scenario of 264, divide that by, 7, that's 37 leads a day. That's also doable. It's about an hour of work. So it's showing you that, hey, if I reached out to 37 leads, warm leads a day, I could get enough calls to make $20,000 a month. That's what this is showing you. And that's from warm leads. If we were to do cold leads, it's a lot less conversion. These are people that don't know, like, and trust you. Then the numbers inflate. Okay, and we see here, this is like cold DMs. Using paid ads, this is like based on your product cost, it's already calculating, here's the max you'd want to spend on ads to get a booked call, $150. So I'm already giving you this math so that if you wanted to run ads on your own, that's the most, just plugging in your cost of your product, it's going to spit out, here's what you need to spend to get a call. And this is acceptable, but it's the max you'd want to spend in an acceptable range is $150 per call. Okay? This is how much ad spend you need to hit your financial goal. On the lower end, it's $3K to make $20K. All right? You need to spend, if you're just doing ads, you need to spend $3K to make $20K based on everything you've put here. On the maximum end, it doesn't make sense because your show rate sucks, your offer rate sucks, your close rate sucks. You need to spend almost 16 grand to make 20 grand. This is, again, people, ads don't work for me. Well, it might be your show rate, offer rate, close rate. Probably is, right? And this isn't even getting into like ad metrics of conversion rate of your ad, conversion rate of your funnel. That's way too in depth for this workshop. And then your return on ad spend is going to be all the way as low as 1.26, which is that spending 16 grand to make 20 grand makes no sense, to 6.3. And this is with max cost per call. Make sense? This is like the max I'd want you to spend on a call, right? But let's say if you run ads already, I left a little section here for you to put in what your cost per call is currently, and then you can see what you need to spend. So let's say actually he did better than $150 per call with his ads, and he is actually booking $80 calls. Boom. Now he needs to spend, about half, and he's going to have almost up to a 12x return on ad spend if he can get his cost per call down to that $80, which is very doable. It's very doable to do that with the right ad strategy. All right, and then lastly, so I don't put everyone to sleep, if you have some other conversion mechanism you're using, like webinars or content, all I want you to do is plug in your conversion rate here. So if if I get 100 people on a webinar and 10 of them will book a call, that's a 10% conversion rate into a book call with your lead gen. Okay, so all I want you to do is put 0.1. Boom, this is how many webinar attendees you would need to hit your goal. Okay, or if out of every 10 pieces of content, I'll get 10 booked calls, then again, you put your conversion rate in here. Boom, you get how many pieces of content you would need. You know what I'm saying? So this is for you, and I hope it's making sense. I know we just went way into the nerdy number deep end, but I just find it so helpful to get real and pragmatic with what it's actually going to take. Because if you're a yes to your financial goal, but you're not a yes to doing the work in the DMs or spending the money on the ads or making the content or having that many attendees in your webinar, fixing your show rate, fixing your close rate, fixing your offer rate, then it's really like, okay, you're not a yes to that goal. And this isn't a comprehensive calculator. There's other ways that are not sales calls. There's other ways that's not DMs or paid ads. It's just to give you a concept. If there's anything you take away is like, does my math? And am I willing to put in the work to make this math? Okay? Make sense, everybody? Put a 4 in the chat if you're still with me and conscious and alive. Yay, it's working. Awesome. We can take a deep breath in and exhale. Awesome. So we'll do one last section for today. So, anyways, I forgot about this in here. This is Lisa, by the way. Hi, Lisa. She's awesome. She's a client for about a year and a half. And just why I want to give an example of her is because she literally 12x'd her business despite not having any high ticket offering, not having any systems, any experience with ads, any experience with sales calls. And she used that money that she made. She went from like $2,000 a month to making like 30K plus per month. And we haven't worked together for over a year at this point, and she's filling out every single retreat. She went from like 2,000 followers. I think now she has like 170K. And has crushed it with ads that we made for her. And she's investing in her healing process. She's feeling the most vibrant she's ever felt. She hired 2 assistants for her team. So now she just gets to be in the teacher role. This is an example of her living her GPS. She knew what she wanted. She knew the lifestyle she wanted. She doesn't want to make 100K a month right now. She wants to make 30K, 40K a month, have 2 assistants on her team, and just get to be the teacher and get to give to her mother and take her mother on all her wellness retreats and go take a month off to just heal her body every year. So it's an example of mapping out what she really wanted and then going towards that founder freedom blueprint, going towards that GPS. Another example is Ali. She's someone that really wanted to hit 7 figures. She started at 0. She was the first Victoria's Secret plus size model, which is pretty cool. And she just got out of the modeling industry. She's like, I'm done with this. I want to get into coaching. I've been teaching, NLP and leadership and content stuff like to my friends for years. And we went from 0 to 40K as a solopreneur. And then she found out she was pregnant, and she's had this assumption, which so many people do, of like, well, I can either be a great mother or I can, make a lot of money. Oh, I can either be a really great person and kind of be broke, or I can be a bad person and have a lot of wealth. It's like these value conflicts. And so when we got rid of this value conflict, basically we just saw you need better processes and you need a team. And so she literally reduced her time in the business 6 hours per week, and she brought $65,000 home plus per month for 6 hours a week. I'm not saying you're going to do this, FTC compliance, FTC overlords. I can't say anyone's going to make any money with my program ever, compliance-wise, but this is true. This happened, and it's happened for a lot of people in the program, just to understand what they want. So you don't have to want this, but it's an example of the GPS in its prime. So let's go to the last section here. We're going to talk about like authentic marketing and meta ad stuff. You guys cool with that? Awesome. So this is where I actually want you to have a piece of paper, and I don't want you to write these questions right now. If you want to take a picture of these questions, you can, but I don't want us to waste the time writing the questions. And so just writing 1 to 10, I want you to answer these questions real quick. 10 is like very effective, and 1 is like none at all effective. Okay? This is just being honest. How effective is your offer at converting people? When they hear it, they're like, my God, I have to do this, and they actually pay. How effective is your organic at consistently driving leads? Like, do you have the amount of calls on your calendar you want from organic or no? How effective are you at generating leads in general? Whether it's from ads or organic or SMS or email, whatever it is. How effective are you at monetization? Just like really understanding how to drive money and revenue, profit. How effective are you explaining what you do in a way that a 5-year-old could understand? Okay, just 1 to 10 briefly for each of these. And there's another slide, so just give me a thumbs up when you've rated yourself on these 5 points. Okay, 1, 2, 3 people done, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, 9, 10, 11. Yes, give me a thumbs up when you're done. I'll give you another moment. Thumbs up, 12, 13. Awesome. So I'll give you five more seconds, 10 more seconds. I'll move to the next one. And just take a picture in case you need to do it later. All right, so next set of questions. To what extent have you tried to innovate and try new things on your own with your marketing efforts? 1 to 10. Like, how out of the box have you gotten to try to get more leads? Or is it just like, let me post again, or let me do the same strategy I already did, or like, let me just copy what someone else is doing? How much have you gotten out of the box with that 1 to 10? To what extent have you leveraged all the parts of your personality, your learnings, your obsessions, your failures, and the quirks that make you unique in your business, in your marketing, in your content, in your teaching, right? Any items under an 8 are showing us where our energy is getting drained in our business due to lack of mastery, innovation. Okay, so just rate yourself on these last 2, 1 to 10. Anybody want to put their averaged out score? You don't need a calculator, just kind of mental math. What number are you at? 2.7. Yeah. 6. Yeah. 4, 1. That's totally fine, right? This isn't good, bad. This just is taking inventory of where we're at. All right? Just being honest. 5, 6, 3.5, 3, 4. Yep. So it's good to be honest about it. So I want you to take a picture of these because I don't necessarily have all the time to map these out deeply. But these are 3 components that are going to help you really leverage your unique contribution in this world. Okay? Because there's so much generic stuff out there of just like, I help people be less stressed. I help people access their potential. I help people feel better in their bodies. I help people be more embodied. I help people, whatever. And that's fine. But how many people can say the same exact thing that you're saying with a completely different offer or a similar offer? So these are the 3 different components that are going to allow us to really dial that, because that's what's positioning is king right now. It's like what I've been telling people. Anyways, I know there's questions on the screen maybe you're looking at, but just what I've been telling people for a long time is that we're out of the realm of like competency being the main driver of business. Okay? And we're into the realm of people understanding how to position themselves being the main thing that makes them money or doesn't make them money, which is, take it or leave it, it just is, right? There are 23-year-olds that know how to position really well that are making 8 or 9 figures, okay, with poor products that aren't very good at all, aren't really helping people, aren't really generating lots of value on the planet. They just know how to position well. And there are people with 30, 40 years of incredible life-changing expertise making 2, 3, 4 grand a month because they don't know how to position. They don't have systems. They don't have all these things we've been talking about. Okay, and I work with people like that all the time. And so positioning is, in a sense, more important than competency in your craft or trade at this very moment. And so don't rely on like, oh, well, I've studied these things for so long and I've embodied these things and I've helped all these people. No one cares. Because if they never even notice you, how are they gonna take the chance on you? Doesn't mean you have to be anything that you're not also. Doesn't mean you have to make outrageous claims. So take a picture of this. What needs to change in the marketplace that other people are not changing, right? In your niche, in your realm of contribution, what needs to change that other practitioners, other coaches, other educators are not changing? Okay, just to contemplate. You don't have to have an answer to all these. What's the opportunity in your little niche, in your sphere, that you see so clearly that nobody else you feel like is seeing? Okay, for me with like Conscious Business Mastery, when I was hiring a coach, I was like, man, I'm seeing tons of like business bros flashing Lamborghinis and like Stripe accounts and like, I just spent $20 million in ads this month and you can too, and flashing. And then I saw on the other end of the spectrum, like kind of disembodied, just like manifestation sort of stuff. And like, and there's nothing against, there's beautiful people in the business bro realm and there's beautiful people in the kind of manifestation, but I wanted something personally that was like deeply spiritually integrated with deep systems mastery as well. Something that was like the both together. And that's why I started Conscious Business Mastery, is because I just felt like there was such a gap. Like, I want to be inspired by the character of the person I'm learning from to grow my business, not just that they're good at ads. I want to become a better person throughout the process. I also want to become a better entrepreneur that understands marketing, sales, systems, etc., and not just become a better person. So where's both? Where's that both? That's what I was seeing as an opportunity when I started this. And why do you feel the need to act on it? Well, I feel like the best people on the planet, not in a weird hierarchical sense, we're all beautiful and valuable, but the people doing the most meaningful, deep integrated work should have the most wealth. That is a core belief I have. I believe that if the most empowered people had the most resources, this world would be an incredible place. Right? Even though that is a big thing that those good people wrestle with. That's why it's worth fighting for. Is because so many people, subconsciously, they think helping people good, making money bad. And I want to change that. And even if they don't, just to step into greater power around that. Can you help more people with more resources, or can you help more people with less resources? Just fundamentally. Right? So, number 2, core truth. Take a picture of this. All right? Take a picture of this. What's the core conviction you hold that's different than anyone else in the market? And this isn't, again, about pretending or making something up, but what do I believe that others do not? Right? And you don't know what everybody everywhere believes, but just play with the exercise, right? What do I believe that others do not? What about my personality stands out? What do people compliment you on that you can lean into and double down on? A huge part of stepping into power is when people recognize your power, you say, yes, thank you. This came from all the great, amazing people that poured into me and helped me become the person I am. And like, I give thanks and praise to them. And I did have to opt in to do the work to become the person I am. Thank you. And you own it and you double down on it as an area of great growth and potentiality to serve this world. Right? For so long, when I was like not as comfortable in my power, it was like people would compliment me, oh, so wonderful, and this and that. And I would kind of cringe and like, ooh, feel kind of weird around it. But now it's like, yes, thank you. Like, I did sacrifice so much to become the man that I am. And so much grace has been given to me by all my gurus and teachers and mentors that poured everything into me, that believed in me more than I believed in myself at times. And why would the audience care about this? How does it impact them? What value does it bring for them? Okay, so take a picture of this if you haven't already, and I want you to contemplate these after this. And then the last component of brand is proof. So how do you reinforce that identity every single day? Right? How are you living as the person you say you are? Not through just what you're saying, but through your actions and the results that you're getting other people. If your clients are not getting results, it's due to who you are being and what you are doing or not doing for them, and how you're leading them or not leading them. The most powerful leadership is personal embodiment. Right? So how am I embodying? And you could also take this in the negative sense. Doesn't mean bad. It just means the opposite side of like, where am I not embodying the things that I say that I stand for? That's super important to take inventory of. I say I want healing and this and that and all these things, yet where are all the places that are incongruent that I can let light into those dark crevices and cracks? Doesn't mean you're all bad or all wrong. It just means like these are places where the light hasn't touched yet. That's okay. It's eternal student mode. So take a picture of this if you haven't already. All right, take a deep breath in and exhale. Put a 5 in the chat if you're still with me. Thank you, Ivan, for putting those in. I appreciate that. Thank you. Put a 5 if you're still with me and getting some value. Awesome. So this is an extension of what we've already been talking about authentic marketing. Once we've like really like considered our positioning, now we have the right platform for marketing, because no amount of like flashy marketing will beat just having good positioning. And those questions really answered. That's why we started there. Anyways, briefly, here's the upside and downside to paid ads. All right. It's not just like this magic pill that's going to solve everybody's problem. There's real work to it. It can achieve aggressive, rapid scale, right? You get something working and you're spending 3K a month, you could bump that thing to 30K a month and 10X your revenue with a few clicks of a button, right? That's massive boost. Nothing else scales as aggressively as paid ads does. Just nothing else does. You can't 10X the output of content and like that just with the click of a button, you know? And so it's very easy to measure ROI and collect data because everything's in a portal. You can quickly split test offers, hooks, angles, which is a lot harder to do with content. You can have a potential for quick conversion from stranger to customer in 24 to 72 hours. So like 90+% of our business that we've gained is someone that saw an ad like a day or two ago and then paid us a lot of money, like within a day or two of seeing the ad. Okay. And then of course there's people that watch our stuff for months and years, and then they're like, Yamuna, I'm ready. Let's do this thing. I've been seeing your things for so long. It's time. Right. But they also probably came from ads initially, and they got into our system and got nurtured through our content, email, and so many things. And you can be ultra targeted with demographics, countries, ages, interests, etc. All right. The challenge is they cost money and they're only going to get more expensive. Doesn't mean they're not worthwhile, but as just more people advertise, the cost per eyeball increases just fundamentally throughout all of time and history. Constant optimization of scale of funnels targeting creatives that fatigue. This is really relevant once you get beyond like 5+ figures in spend, and really like relevant beyond like $40,000-$50,000 of ad spend per month, which is probably not anything that most of you are considering right now. Not to make assumptions. It's harder to sell. You have to be better at sales, because all the know, like, trust factor that someone might have gotten through like organic and referrals is not going to be there in the same way when you're doing ads. So you have to have the right homework videos and right content and right funnel set up to nurture people before they have the call. All right. And, I'm not going to go through the rest of this, but I'll send you the presentation. Let's get into the actual strategy. So the main way we try to do ads is, the most important concept, if you're going to get anything from this and you want to run ads, is angles are the most important. And I'm going to explain what I mean. But ad angles are the most important thing. Okay, an angle, just like you have a diamond and you turn that diamond around, it has so many different facets that'll shine all different colors. It's the same diamond, but you get different colors from it as you spin it, and different like portals into appreciating its beauty. And so in the same way, how many different ways can you spin the windows in which someone relates with your product? How many different viewpoints could someone relate with your product and see it as valuable in their life? That's an angle. And I'm going to give examples of that in a second. And then for each angle, right, we come up with 3 to 6 unique angles. So I'll give an example. My other company, Marma Method, which is awesome. Not to gas myself up, but we do bodywork trainings all over the world. There's one coming up in April, led by myself and a dear brother, where we do these beautiful bodywork trainings in this tradition. That's 5,000-year-old healing tradition. So to give you an example of how it plays out with angles, I'm going to give you 3. Everybody cool with that? You want some examples? Okay, cool. So one example is we teach people bodywork and massage in this unique tradition. One way someone could relate is, have you ever been told you're a great listener and you're great with your hands, but you don't really have any formal training that allows you to make this your life and allows you to really have that contribution as a healer come online for you? That's an angle. It's relating with like activating your own inner healer potential. And this training is a solution to that. That's an example of an angle. Another angle would be for people that are already really great at what they do, right? Are you a massage therapist or chiropractor or body worker who provides really wonderful work for your clients, but you want to understand how to master transformative touch, create trauma breakthroughs, and create trauma breakthroughs consistently with every single session, right? It's like there's a difference between relaxing touch and transformative trauma breakthrough experience, right? We've probably all had a massage that was like relaxing. It was nice. And I pray, which is a mission of Marma Method, that people understand what transformative touch is, that you can have the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you move through the world change forever through a touch session with Marma. And do you want to get trained in that, essentially, is the angle? Do you want to be able to facilitate that, right? So that's another angle. It's for people that are already established, but they want to be able to create those really high-level trauma breakthrough experiences, right? Another angle could be like a business opportunity angle, which is like, are you looking for, an enriching, exciting career where you get to help people, you get to hold space for them to transform, and you get to provide holistic healing, right? And it's like an opportunity for like a new career, right? So we have like identity, which is like step into your healer identity. We have business opportunity, which is like, do you want to have a career in something really wonderful and beautiful and magical? And then we have like depth of training and understanding and results that you get your clients. Do we see how those are three separate angles, all advertising the same exact training? Is that making sense? Nod your head or say yes in the chat. Awesome. Yes, Yamuna. And if it's not, I'm happy to go deeper, but just so we're all on the same page. So that's examples of angles. And then for each of those angles, we'll make 2 to 6 hooks each. This is like the first 5 to 10 seconds of a video ad. And then we'll make one body, which is like the main portion of the most of the video. Like beyond the first 10 seconds is what we call the body, where it's like, hi, my name's Yamuna. I'm the founder of Marma Method. Over the last 10 years, I developed this blah, 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 blah. And, just showing social proof and whatever. And then the last is call to action. So one body and one call to action. This is initial ad testing. So in one filming session, we make 6 to 36 unique ads in one filming session for a single offer, right? And, depending on your budget, it's the more the merrier. But at least 6 creatives that we make with these 3 unique angles with 2 hooks each, okay? And we have 6 creatives. And usually I'd say if I had to guesstimate our success rate on phase 1 of testing, I'd say it's probably around 85, 90%, which is very high with the level of people that we run ads for. A lot of people out there that do marketing will say, you need to spend tens of thousands of dollars to figure it out and use ChatGPT scripts and make insane high-level promises. No, you don't need to be anything that you're not to advertise successfully. You just need to understand these things, okay? So I think that's all. Oh, I wanted to show you, actually. I wanted to show you the ad real quick. Just as an example of, y'all want to see one of the ads we made for the company, for Marma Method? Okay, cool. Let me put the audio on, because you can make these really beautiful, or you can make them like super simple talking head, or even simple image ads. We've made millions off of a simple image ad. You don't have to be good on camera. So let me give you an example with audio. I don't have the stats on which one was the winner, so I'm just going to click on a random one.
I hear it over and over again. People tell me I'm a great listener. People turn to me when they're in crisis. People confide in me. Our Marma Method students seem to experience this throughout their lives, long before they ever make the decision to become a practitioner. The Marma Method practitioner training is a 5,000-year-old lineage of healing designed to restore the body's ability to heal itself, release tension, and remove emotional blockages. Throughout 7 days in person and extended support online, we master the 5 components of physical touch in Marma, as well as powerful tools for mental and emotional breakthrough. Whether you're an experienced practitioner, coach, or healer, or you have no prior experience, this science is designed to be a simple and powerful tool used in every home on the planet. From the words of our attendees, this event is like years of therapy in 1 week. It also equips you, regardless of prior massage experience, to facilitate hands-on healing for anyone that walks into your life. You can learn more about it by clicking the link below and booking a brief call with our team. We spend 7 days together giving and receiving treatments in a safe and supportive container, while also eating cleansing foods and practicing breathwork and meditation each morning. So go ahead and click the button below to learn more about the training, and we hope to speak with you soon.
Simple, right? Doesn't seem like unreasonable. It's not any crazy sort of scripting. It's just, here's my heart. Here's what to do next. Want to join us? To simplify it, really. So, yeah. Let's see. So that's pretty much that. And if any of you were interested, I actually wasn't planning on pitching this at all. But if you are interested in the Marma method, you can click that video, and you can, or even just for marketing purposes, you want to see our VSL, our video sales letter, which is just like a 7-minute overview of our offer and blah, blah, blah. That's like trying to get people to book a call if they're interested. Then you can see how we've structured it. You could even take that video, put it into a transcription software, put it into Claude, AI or OpenAI, and then say, rewrite this for my offer based on these things, and then rework it to make your own VSL. So I share it for that, but also if you're genuinely interested, you can click that and book a call with us, because we have the next one coming up in April. So with that being said, let's take a deep breath and exhale. Awesome. So now if you are wanting to work with us, then there's 3 key things that we'll do. So we'll create your unique positioning as an expert to build trust in your market. We'll develop your GPS with you, and we'll create that roadmap so you can build the time, financial, and role freedom. So we have an internal tech team. So all these funnels and things, this funnel that you click on and that I put in the comments, we'll build out all your funnels, your SMS, email, automations, all the landing pages, opt-in pages, workflows, etc. And then, ideally we get you to a point where instead of wearing 100 different hats, you're in your lane of greatness, and systematize all the areas that aren't your greatest calling. Okay. And so, we'll help you with all these systems. So your tech stack, any SOPs, which is for hiring, if you ever want to hire somebody, your funnels, your CRM, SMS and email, automations, workflows, nurture, paid ad strategy, and then we'll act as these things for you. So if you work with me one-on-one, I'll be like a co-CEO in your business, sales director, marketing department, client success consultant, all for a fraction of what it will cost you. So we'll take questions in a minute if any of you have questions, but are you cool if I offer an unreasonable offer? Is that okay? Does I have permission to pitch you on something cool for 60 seconds? Say, yes, Yamuna, we're open. We're open to generosity. Awesome. So, another case study. I forgot about him. This is Oded. He had a business that was declining month to month. He was already making a lot of money, $160K a month, and we basically helped him grow to over $400,000 a month, and really just integrate his spiritual side with his leadership side, because he just didn't know, how do I bring this conscious aspect into my company? How do I hire the right salespeople? How do I have a high level sales process? And so he's been a wonderful client. Now, this is not for you if you're looking for a get-rich-quick solution. If you're not a living example of what you're teaching your clients, there has to be a certain level of embodiment. If you're looking for us to do everything for you, because at the end of the day, you have to take ownership of enrolling clients, fulfilling on your product, keeping your word, and you're not willing to get uncomfortable, and you're not ready to have your beliefs challenged. But if you're here and you've made it this long in this workshop, I'm assuming that these things are true. And so here's my offer. Normally, this past year we made a little shift and a little special deal we're running right now, but normally our 4-month program is $13,000. Okay. But we've made our program 6 months instead of 4. Okay. We're offering a new tuition pricing of $8,800 instead of $13K. And I'll give you a one-on-one advertising call, which is not normally included in this group program. And if you want to work with me private, I do charge more than $8,800 for private partnerships and only take on a few people at a time. But I have 3 slots for private partnership for Q1 of 2026. And so we're making this special offer eligible or applicable until the end of the week, until Friday, January 2nd. So if you want to take a picture of this, you can. And if you want to take advantage of it, then I'm going to drop 2 links. And then in the meantime, we're going to be able to take some Q&A. So, and I want to give you your gift real quick. So let me get your gift. And then I want to make sure you get your tracking sheet and all that stuff. So if you still feel like you need to talk with someone on our team, then what I'll do is put a little booking link in here. But if you feel like you are ready to make that commitment and you feel it in your heart, you feel it in your body, then I will give you a link to be able to do that. So just give me a second. And in the meantime, I'm going to drop the freebie. And then if you have a question for me, just put a 1 in the chat. Let's see. Okay, cool. So here's your nerdy math calculator. For anybody. So just click on that link. This is the one of the freebies I wanted to give you. And then for anybody who's interested in doing that $8,800 program, which is deeply discounted and all that good stuff, all we ask is a $2K deposit and we'll honor that rate. Okay. So I'm going to put that link in for anybody who wants to do it, and I'll put that link in. So you could literally just sign up now, or else if you need a call to talk with our team, then I'm going to get you a link for that and we can answer any questions you have. But that's what I got. So anybody who would like to stick around, yes. Well, that's the discount day. This rate is honored until the 2nd, correct? And after that, I'm not going to be one of those guys that doesn't keep my word. So it really is applicable to the 2nd. If you want to get the bonus one-on-one call with me, if you want to get all these other things. But otherwise, there's no pressure. You can keep coming back to these free workshops. I'll probably do them every 4 to 6 weeks. And if you're not a part of our free school community, I highly recommend it because there's like 20, 30 free trainings in there. So I'll drop the link for that too in case you want to. Does it say unable to open file for everybody else? No, everybody else is working. If you're not in the free community already, join it because I'm going to be posting our next free workshops and stuff like that. So if you don't feel ready to commit to joining, then at least join the free school and come to the next workshop. And so, awesome. And then for those of you who wanted to talk to our team, just click that link. And that'll be like a little 20-minute call with someone on our team. No pressure, no high pressure sales tactics, anything like that. All right. Is there a payment plan option after the 2K? Yes, there is. Yes, we could talk about that. So I'll stay on for the next 10, 20 minutes if anybody has any questions, anything they want to personally discuss. And I'm super grateful. All of you, it's approaching New Year. It's such a busy time with family, with business, with life, and all of you spent, an hour and a half with me. So my time's not more valuable than your time, and I really appreciate it. I know you guys have so much going on. So thank you for being here. Jamil, wonderful. Catherine, Rawa, Elias, Rebecca, Laura, Renee, Jordan, Day, Jeffrey, Alex, Aniko, Mike, Connor, Jay, Bella, Paulo, Chris, Ivy, and Hannah. Appreciate y'all. And then just put a one. Put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat if you have a question. I didn't preface that. I said that earlier. Put a two in the chat if you have a question so that I'm not confused now. Because I had said that earlier. If you have a question, put a two in the chat. And if there's no questions, we'll just log off. So put a two. Awesome. Jamil, what you got? And then we'll do Catherine. And anybody who needs to go or needs to log off, awesome. I'm going to answer a few questions and then end this after. So Jamil, what you got? How can I serve you, my friend? I can hear you.
Awesome. So, I love your work, mate. I've been keeping an eye on conscious business frameworks for a while. Personally, I'm in a state of healing and restoration. And, 2025, we talked about the year of the snake shedding. I have been shedding like crazy. This has been the hardest year of my life. And I definitely feel that I am right now, my nervous system is completely shot. I'm in a state of recovery. So whilst I'm driven to pull and do more work, I feel like I have to honor my energy. And I would love to hear from someone like yourself, someone that's in recovery right now. Are these sorts of work and decisions the right time to do this, or should I wait until I'm more internally energetically aligned, my nervous system is more healed before I focus on these thoughts and decisions? Because I feel myself being pulled into scarcity and fear because of my nervous system damage. And, thinking about the future makes me quite anxious where I never used to. So I just love to hear that from someone in energetics.
Well, first off, just honoring the vulnerability and the share. I appreciate that. And to be transparent, this year has also been the most difficult year of my life. I'm not sorry to hear it, because of what I'm about to share with you. I don't share that for pity. I don't share that for any need for emotional comfort. But this year has been deeply challenging for me. And it just is coming to a place like back to great inspiration and power and clarity. But it's taken me going through, I'm going to share a concept with you if that's all right. Are you open to it, Jamil? Okay. So I study the medicine wheel of the native indigenous people, and it's the four directions. And so there's the west, the east, the north, the south. The east is a place of inspiration and clarity. It's where the sun is rising over the horizon, right? And who doesn't love being inspired and clear, knowing what life is asking of them? It's a wonderful feeling. It's part of the cycle of life to feel inspired and clear. Naturally, what occurs next is going to the south, which is a place of great action. It's now that I'm inspired and clear about what to do and what life is asking of me, I act on that inspiration. And you life, you give me the power to act on my clarity and inspiration. It's life's promise. If we're leaning into life a little bit, right? You will give me the power to act on this clarity. Next is the west, which is where the sun's setting over the horizon and darkness comes. And this is where the realm of initiation and tribulation and trials. It's like you were inspired and clear. That naturally made you act in this world. Naturally, when we begin acting and moving towards something, there's going to be challenge and initiation. Okay? And we'll talk about that more in a second. But then the west goes to the north. And once we've moved through that initiation, through that challenge and tribulation, then the north represents peace and power and leisure and relaxation and just like all the warm, fuzzy goodness of like laying in a bed of flowers and letting the sun soak on your skin and just feeling like, my God, there's nothing to do. There's nowhere else to be. And I feel so satisfied. And this is the cycle of life. Each of us, maybe in a day, we're feeling different energies. Maybe in a week, we're feeling different energies. Maybe in a year, in a season of life, maybe there's whole seasons where we're in the west, right? Maybe this whole year you've been in the West. I know for about 6 months of this year, I was deep in the West. And when you're deep in the West, all directions are West. It's actually it's all West. It's like, oh, oh my God. Like when you're deep in the darkness and the initiation and the tribulation and challenge of life of like a man who's out in a boat in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of night with no paddles, no motor, no oar, no compass, no stars to even navigate because it's overcast at night, what do? Every direction's west. And you can use your intellect and like try to paddle towards a certain direction, but you might be paddling further away from land. So your mind and your intellect can't save you when you're deep in these initiatic moments. Okay? But what can is those outstretched arms of just, how do I accommodate what life is asking me to accommodate right now? It seems unreconcilable sometimes. It seems you're asking me to digest something that is so against my preference and so undigestible right now. How do I do that? And it's not through our power or our wealth or our reputation. None of it can save us anymore. How can I reconcile? How can I feel at power and peace again when it feels so stripped away? It's through being in the pressure cooker of the West. How does a pressure cooker work? Anybody ever used a pressure cooker? Anybody ever? Nobody?
Heat, pressure, time.
Heat, pressure, and time. Time is the key. Pressure is the key. Heat is the key. That's the West. It's heating us with the intensity of tribulation. It's pressurizing us with it as well. And that's that little steam spout on the pressure cooker, if you ever cooked in one, it's not going to blow a moment before it should or a moment after it should. It's going to cook as long as it needs to cook, not a moment later, not a moment sooner. And when we mature, really what the West is asking is maturity with life. Really that's what it's asking is, how can I sit with pain and grief and sorrow and all the unpleasant dark things and let it cook me and tenderize me and ripen me and just be able to have the capacity of my heart stretched in all directions so that I can hold more of what life's trying to give me. And it's not our immediate reaction. It's like, how do I fix this? How do I get out of this? Maybe we feel apathetic, like life is against me, like this, I need to change this, I got to get out. That's most people's reaction to the West. They don't actually drink the bitter medicinal cup of what life is trying to truly gift them, which is freedom. Can I trust in all circumstances? Can I trust in all circumstances, even this one? And it's not a light thing. I'm not trying to speak cheaply. I'm speaking from just having gone through the most painful experiences of my life and going on my knees, tears down my face, and feeling God's hand on my head like, everything I do is for you. Everything I do is for you. I love you. I love you. I'm trying to give you just enough medicine to get to that next level of embodiment and love and capacity and stewardship and freedom and trust and power and peace. I'm giving you just enough, not an ounce more of bitterness and not an ounce less, so that you can get what you need to get. And I don't want to speak over you, Jamil, because I don't know you. If we had more time, we could be much more personal. And sometimes hearing this sort of like spiritual euphemisms and stuff like that when we're deep in the West, it's like, bro, like that's great for you. I'm glad you have all this amazing framework and whatever, but like I'm not there. That's okay. But I pray that something is useful, because there's no escaping. There is. You can escape, and plenty of people do that. They cope. Coping is to escape the medicine of the West. And there are 1,001 ways to cope. But the West is the truest gift of maturity. The West is the truest gift of real fucking peace. Because if you can trust with all of this, you are free. If you can die before dying, you are free. And so it's really tough. You know, my heart goes out to you. My heart does go out to you because it's really tough. Sometimes life is really like, holy shit. How am I supposed to hold this? We don't know how. But would it be worth it to learn how to hold it? Would it be worth it to learn how to trust in spite of it? You know, if you've never read Say Yes to Life by Viktor Frankl, I highly recommend it, especially for you right now. Say Yes to Life by Viktor Frankl, because he was a psychologist that went through the Holocaust, and he saw people's careers and homes got taken away, their money and their possessions, even their families got taken away, even their entire bodies, you know, a 6'4" man becoming a skeletal 90-pound person that's just skin and bones and has a little scrap of stale bread that he's hidden under his pillow, and still he'll give it to the child that's crying. He said, in spite of what life gives us, man always retains his ability to choose who he wants to be. And that's what the West is trying to have come online for us, is you get to decide the person you get to be in spite of it all. And when you can do that, life will shower so much onto you. It's like, my child, you've held this so well, you're so ready. You're so ready. Or else we kind of ignore it, we kind of cope, we kind of ignore. And then inevitably the promise of the North is that you will feel more peaceful at a certain point. You will feel more rested at a certain point. It will come. But not having drunk the medicine of the West, it just will come back again in a different way. And people wonder, why do these things keep happening to me? Why do I keep experiencing the same sort of heartbreak and confusions and pains and loss? And well, we never drank the medicine. The West came around and you said, I'm good. So I pray none of that was insensitive. I don't mean to say this is how you should think. I'm just sharing what has helped me. Okay?
No, I appreciate it, man. Like, I am coming out of the West, but it's been a deep, dark West. Everything's been, for my life, taken on me, like, chronically stressed. I'm in recovery for probably another, 8 weeks. So,
Yeah.
But the worst is over, right? And I'm trying to rebuild anew from the West.
Yeah.
I'm going, am I in the right level of consciousness state of mind? Because I definitely feel I'm still deep in survival mode and trying to pull myself out.
Yeah.
And get,
Well, the energy of survival and the energy of creation are opposed to each other. Biologically, energetically, etc. That doesn't mean it's wrong or bad to experience what you're experiencing, but just literally, like, if you're being chased by a tiger, you're not going to have your sexual creation energy come online unless you're like a very rare, kinky, strange person. But anyways, should cut that out of the workshop. We'll cut that out of the recording. But it's just they're opposing energies. And people live like that their whole life. They say, I want to create all this and experience all this life, and I have all these hopes and dreams, and yet they're so self-denying, they're so self-rejecting, they're so killing all these different parts, shame, guilt, pressing them down into the floor of like survival, like I'm not enough and I don't deserve and all the things. Okay, I'm wanting all these things and I'm degrading myself with my own psyche. It's very hard to claim a amazing reality and reject yourself at the same time. So I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but just as a concept of like, yeah, I'm probably not the time right now. Let the pressure cooker of the West cook you a bit more. You're like, fuck.
I still got a little bit more time before I'm fully out of the West.
Yeah, that's okay. She has her own beautiful plan. That it's like, if you can come into right relation with her plan, like a dark mother that just wants to like birth you out of her dark womb into like a more whole human, a more adulted person, a more wise elder, then, things are going to be great. things are going to be great. And clarity will come, inspiration will come, power will come. That's the promise. But how much you get out of this West time, that's up to you.
Yeah. I've got clarity, just some clarity, just not energy.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
I got you.
Deep in survival and healing. But I appreciate the perspective, man.
Yeah.
To me this time,
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for receiving. I just see Catherine. Catherine, are you still here? Yes, you're still here. How can I serve you, Catherine?
I'm actually needing to step up really quick, but the question that I did have was in regards towards the difference compared to, besides the price change, what has changed from, besides the price changing from 13,000 to 8,800, I believe I said, or 8,000.
Yeah.
What were the additional shifts and changes? Because I know it's been some time since.
Yeah. Well, we made it 6 months instead of 4, and then with this special offer too, I'm offering a one-on-one. And then otherwise, it's for those of you that are not familiar, like GPS and vision and all that, like offer stack positioning is step 1. All the dream client generation stuff, like we have 10 different lead generation systems, paid ads, free school funnels, newsletter GPS, workshop GPS, SMS and email marketing. Like we have 10 different systems. So usually out of those, we're going to ask you to like pair with and master 2 or 3 of them based on your offer, your time and cash availability, like what's a fit for you. Then there's conscious sales mastery, right? So learning how to sell with integrity, and I could talk on that forever. And then beyond that, there's like systems for ease and scaling. So how do we get more time freedom, role freedom, financial freedom, etc. And so that process hasn't changed. It's just we've always refined the product, made it better, but now it's longer, now it's cheaper. Now you get an extra one-on-one with me if it interests you. But yeah, it's not like a radically different product, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's been working really well for a lot of people. So
because I think wasn't there also like a dedicated person that would be assigned to us as far as like coaching?
Yeah, so that's changed too.
Is that still the same?
No, that's not. So this program is substantially less price, partially because of that, but also I just wanted a smaller group of people that I get to see on my weekly calls and get to pour into in the community and stuff like that. And so I've substantially reduced how many clients I take on. Excuse me. And it's been working really well.
Is there an option as far as being able to have a person? Because I know that was like one of the amazing things when I was looking at the program originally. Well, getting that one-on-one support.
Yeah. So you'll still have that. Like our tech team will still build out all your stuff. You'll still be able to access me on the calls and whatever. But the 2 options are that group, 6 months, etc. All the things we mentioned, or the private partnership with me. Those are those 2 options.
Okay.
And then if you want to go deeper with it, then we can talk. I'm happy to talk. I know you've been in the community for a long time and wanting that support. And so, any way I can serve, I'm happy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Your explanation of everything.
Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate you. All right, everybody. I appreciate you for staying this long, hour 46 minutes. I'm going to log off. I've been going since 10 a.m. and I got a men's group right after this that I'm leading for an hour and a half. And then I got a friend I'm seeing before I leave right after that. So it's a 12-hour beautiful marathon today. But appreciate you all and hope to see you on the next one. And if you haven't already, you want to book a call with my team, here it is. If you haven't already and you want to put that deposit down, here's that link for that deposit. I'll leave it up for 30 seconds and I'll shut down the Zoom. So click on those if you want. And thanks so much for being here.